Hey, it's Mrs. Oddie again. We're gonna play with Y1, Y2, Why Not, and how to set the window, and not the one outside that you're looking at the puppy dog. The calculator window. Alright, here we go. Alright, setting a window in TI-83 plus calculator, and let's play Y1, Y2, Why Not. So let's say we play with that equation we were doing a while ago with the battleship and solving for triangle circle. I think it was 3x plus 2 equals 8 or something like that. Works for me. So my first question to you is, how do you play y1, y2, why not? So let's think about the rules. So first question, do you have a left? Yes. Do you have a right side? Yes. Do you have one type of variables? You can have a bunch of them, but they got to be the same flavor. Yep, I have an x. You could have more than one x. In fact, I have 3. But you can't have x's and y's and a's and b's. You can have just one letter. And if you have an a, change them to x. Keep going. But you can only have one flavor. You can't have more than one. It won't work. That becomes another problem. So I'm going to put all of this on y1. I'm going to insert that one into y2. And my calculator's moving, my screen is moving slow because I'm downloading, so ignore it. So I've got my calculator turned on, and there is stuff everywhere. I suggest you clear it. That's second plus 712. Always clear your calculator. And if it's doing something stupid, clear your calculator. So I pushed Y1 buttons, and I'm going to type in 3x plus 2. And I'm going to arrow down, which is my mouse right here. I'm going to type in 8. So I've got 3x plus 2, and then I've got 8. The question is, hey, where'd you get that x? Do you see where the mode button is? Wait on this computer to catch me. Below the mode button is this button. If you push it, there's an X. And I'm saying below, not under, because under the mode button is menus. That's not the same word. All right, so my next screen, so I've done Y equals. I want to go to Windows. So I'm going to push Windows, and that's my window. Negative 10, positive 10, 1, negative 10, positive 10, 1. And ignore the last one, I don't know. Will that window work? Well, there's going to be a line crossing at 8. And that's pretty close. You can make this window bigger. I've got some favorite windows. I like negative 10. I like 20s. I like 50s, 100s. And then if I have to get bigger, then I'll go head on to 500 or even 1,000 if I'm desperate. So I think I'm going to leave it at 10 right here. We can look at that picture. So I'm going to push the graph button. And in a second, you'll see this thing moving. There goes the first line. There's my second line. Now, do you see X marks the spot? Sure you do. You can see where this line crossed this line. And right there's the answer. Right there. If I can get that screen to sit still. So how do you get that little point? So I'm going to push second trace. And then I'm going to push 5 for intersection. And then I'm going to push the enter button 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And the answer is 2. Now you see a 2 and there's an 8. I typed in the 8, so that's not 8. It's 2. By the way, in your equation, did you type in an X or did you put in a Y? Well, let's look. Yep, it was an X. So that was second trace 5, 1, 2, 3 enters. X equals 2. So I can come over here and write X equals 2. And I'm done with that problem. Let's do another one. What if you have negative 5x plus 3 equals negative 20? Well, those are big numbers. Man, this calculator might be sweating here in a minute. I don't think so. Let's go back to y equals. Just push clear. It's too easy. Think about it. Your window's set. You might like that window. So I want, where's that negative at? Down there by the enter button. Yep, you're right. Negative 5. Where's that stupid x? Below the mode button. Plus 3. How do you get to the next row? Use your mouse, go down. And I'm at negative 20. What if you forget the negative? Forget the check mark too. I know, funny, right? So you've got negative 5x plus 3, and you have negative 20. Do you have everything you want? I think you do. Let's push the windows. Now it's the original window, which is negative 10, positive 10, 1. Will that work? You have a negative 20 going across. I don't think so. Because it's going to stop at 10 and negative 10. And this thing's going to 20, negative 20 to be exact. I want you to look at the graph so you know when it's wrong. That's always important. So here's my graph. There's the first line. Never saw the second one. Exactly. You have to see 2 lines cross, and they have to make an X. like X marks the spot, said Indiana Jones video. I didn't see an X. I only see a line. That won't work. If you even go second trace 5, 1, 2, 3 enters, look at there, 4.6. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Now, the moral of that story, if you type these equations in and you can't get an X to cross, test it anyway. The answer still might pop up. Sometimes the calculator's forgiving. It feels sad for you and it gives you the answer anyway. Sometimes it is not forgiving. Usually when I do it, it's never forgiving. I never get the answer like that. So what I really want you to do is still see the X. So what do you need to do? You need to go back to that window. Now, if you could do 20, but that's going to be on the edge, because that's a negative 20. I think you should do 50s. Now, let's talk about how to set these windows. I'm going to recopy that. That's negative 10, positive 10, 1, negative 10, positive 10, 1, and there's a 1 here, and you can ignore this one. I think I like 50. 50 is a nice guess. So how do you make a 10 look like a 50? Just right over it. Change all the ones to 5. So make that a 5, make that one a 5. All the ones become a 5. Ignore that last one. So I need to type that window in. And yeah, it's good practice to write that down. Why? Because if you type it in wrong, it won't work. So that's negative 50, positive 50, a 5, negative 50, positive 50, and a 5. And yeah, I can type them in pretty quick. Let's look at that window again. So there's my window. I still got my equation going. Let's look at that graph. I hope to see 2 lines. 1, 2. Perfect. I can tell you the answer is right there, whatever that is. We're going to do second trace. By the way, it says calculate in yellow if you're just dying to know what that button means. I'm going to do 5 for intersection because that's where it crosses. And you're going to push that enter button 3 times. That's 1, 2, and if it says guess on your screen, I guess you can't count to 3. 3. 4.6. So is the answer 4.6 or is the answer negative 20? What variable did you type in? Why, yes, you typed in X. So the answer is 4.6. Do we need one more? We can do one more. What do you want to look at? Oh, let's do a hard one. 2x plus x minus 7.3 equals, oh, I don't know, 14.7. That's a good hard one. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, the calculator will not break a sweat. Now, if you notice, I got 2 variables, but they're the same flavor. That's an x and that's an x, and that'll work. Hey, let's make it harder. What if it was 2a plus a minus 7.3 equals 14.7? How are you going to make that one work? Well, what kind of axis do you have in your graph? You have an x and a y. You don't have any a's. You can't use that one. What you do is you pretend an a is an x and you type it in, and it's okay. A, okay. We're so funny. All right, so let me set the screen up where I want it. I'm still moving here. Maybe. Got it. So what are you going to type in y1? So I'm going to go to y1. I'm going to push clear to get rid of all that. I think I'm just going to type in 2x plus x minus 7.3. Now, by the way, 2x plus x is 3x, but I don't have time for mistakes, so we're just going to type in what you have. The calculator is pretty smart. He'll figure it out. So now I have the 14.7, 14 and 7 tenths. My question, what about that window? I have no idea. Let's push a graph. There's a line. There's 2. Perfect. So what are you going to push next? Second trace. 5. 3 enters. 1, 2, 3. The answer is, well, dang, how are you going to write all that on your paper? You know what you should have done? You should have done mode float 2. Get out of that screen, push clear. Go back to your graph. And how do you make it calculate again? Second trace 5, 3 enters. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what it says. 7.33. There you go. Equals x. Alrighty, so we've learned how to solve for x with y1, y2, y0. You've learned how to play with the window. And like I said, always write down the -10, +10, and 1, and then override those ones and change them. My favorites are 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, and then 500 if I desperately need a bigger screen. If you have any other questions, watch those other videos, or come find me after school maybe. See you later.